Hello, and welcome to It's Already In You podcast. We are your hosts, Liz
and Janine, nutrition and movement experts, mothers and business owners, obsessed with helping you quiet the noise of diet culture.
Seeing through the false advertising and promises of our food and fitness industries, helping you discover that everything you need to upgrade your health and well-being is already in you.
Hey guys, we're back today with part 2 of our inflammation episode, and we are chatting about what we can do to prevent or decrease inflammation in our bodies. But to go back to our part 1, we spoke about how when inflammation becomes chronic, it stops being helpful and it starts to quietly fuel disease. So we want to get to the root causes of it and what we can do to make some really strong changes within our lifestyle, our diet, our habits, our environment that can really help us to decrease inflammation.
Yes, an actionable episode.
Yes.
So I would say, the first step would be just to understand what we talked about in the previous episode, like really what it is, like truly understand, cause and effect. Like yes. This is just what it is, right? And then the symptoms that we experience are the effect of whatever we put into our body or what we are experiencing in life. And so when you can kind of break it down that simply, what we're feeling internally might not be super simple, but really that's what that is. It's a reaction, right? Yep. And so we want to be able to listen. I mean, we want to prevent no reaction. That would be great. But when we do get that reaction, when we do feel the inflammation, really understand what it is and be able to nip it in the bud so it doesn't turn into something big. And usually that nip it in the bud is change some sort of habit or perspective of what you're doing in your day-to-day life.
I want to point out too that this may take some time for some of you. Like I feel like Liz and I, we discuss this a lot. Like we know, I was feeling like I had a little acid reflux for a few days. Like you realize that something is going on because we're so in tuned with our bodies and what we are doing on a daily basis. And, you become very able to understand that something's off, right? As opposed to when you're just going along, living this life, and you have these symptoms, you sometimes don't even realize that you have symptoms because there's so much that doesn't feel right or doesn't feel good within your body or, just your everyday well-being is not right. Yeah. So the more you do things that make you feel better, the more aware you get within your body when things are not feeling right.
Yeah.
So it's okay if you listen to us at first and hear this and say, God, I don't know what they're talking about when they're like, you'll know when something's off. Because sometimes you don't, right? Yeah. Like especially when you're going along in life and just doing all the things you've always done and you don't even realize that you do have inflammation.
Yeah.
Or that you're not feeling good until you start feeling good. And then you realize, wow, I wasn't feeling good. Or when you start to make these changes and you start feeling good, you'll notice right away if you go out and do something. And, it's interesting. My daughter said to me the other day that she's been prepping her food and she's been feeling so good. And then, one day she just had stomach wasn't feeling good. She can just tell digestive issues were off. And, and then she realized, she's like, oh, I did go to the cafeteria and have this on this day, right? So becoming very innately able to say that's not a normal response from my body. That's not a normal good feeling that I usually have is part of the learning process, I think.
Yeah, definitely. And it's so, you just gave a great example, for your daughter to understand the difference between her habits and feeling her best and then changing something up and feeling the effect of that change, and to know in her head that she wants to minimize that as much as possible because she does want to feel her best. And I think that those are some strong messages we can share, obviously, with ourselves, but with our kids is for them to understand the difference between the two. I also feel like, back in the day, I probably still now, we wouldn't hear the word inflammation, or we wouldn't hear that type of kind of like mindfulness because it wasn't really apparent until people were older.
Yeah.
I think it's important to start using this dialogue with our children when they're eating and they're making food choices, obviously without scaring them or making it like super serious, like you're going to get a disease by doing this. But like, how do you feel? When do you feel your best? And,
allowing them to understand though that it is associated with what they're putting into their body.
Yeah.
And how they, move their body and all of the things that they do in their lives that can contribute to health or contribute to disease in a way that they can understand, obviously.
Yeah. And just that food and your lifestyle actions are your biggest communicators. So with that being said, you guys already know this, our biggest thing we're going to say is a lifetime of what you put into your body. Yeah. And everybody's body is different. So remember, people are going to have more sensitivities to maybe certain things than other, but overall, what you're putting into your body is going to be your biggest communicator. It's going to be your biggest internal calm things, support things, energize you, or it is going to make your body angry. It's going to make your body feel restricted in terms of like, and I'm not saying restricted in terms of the food you're putting in your body, but like think of things like tight and like slow and angry and confused and like those type of things. That happens to our systems, right? And so it's going to really be one or the other. And to truly believe that is going to give you a lot of answers. You might not really know what system it's really impacting, or there might be some tests or some support you might need from external people, but you can sense that in your own body.
Yes.
And trace it back to like, oh, these are these choices that I'm making regularly. This probably can lead to that.
Yes. Absolutely.
Yeah. So what would you say for someone specifically with diet as some things that they could be extra mindful about incorporating in when they're feeling inflamed? Like if they have identified, I have some, inflammation or some kind of angriness happening in my body, what are some things that I can do and invite in to start to flip that messaging?
So obviously avoiding excess sugar and processed foods and industrialized seed oils, and adding things in like cruciferous vegetables and leafy greens and alkaline. No, why can I say that? Alkalized?
The one with the Z?
Yes.
Alkanized.
Alkanized, thank you.
But there's an alkaline too.
Yeah. Like
now it all just sounds weird.
Now it just sounds weird. Okay. It's just sometimes the word just doesn't flow out like it's supposed to.
It's supposed to.
It's like synonym.
Yeah. Synonym? Is that what you're trying to say?
I think we're losing it today.
Yes. Yeah.
But yes, all of the greens that have that balance in them, and think anti-inflammatory instead of inflammatory foods. And it's simple to think about those things. So real whole foods are going to help. Omega-3s are going to help with anti-inflammatory. So, one of the things to like start thinking about healing and getting rid of inflammation is healing the gut. Mm-hmm. So the same things that you want to do to heal the gut, you want to do to get rid of the inflammation.
Yeah.
And then choosing that the good nutrition and knowing that you're getting in those whole food items and removing the not whole food items from your diet is going to play a big role in decreasing inflammation.
I think that's important is to follow, like if it's something that's really chronic for you and it's, anybody, but definitely if it's something really chronic for you, is that you are taking the things out that don't serve you, even if it's just self-study.
Yeah.
Like it's going to be hard for you to add add in these really great things and not take out the things that are poking your bear. Because it's already been angry. So like you need to get down to a baseline, and then you can do a little bit of like self-study to see like, is there things that you can sprinkle in here and there, or is there things that are just not working for your body and your system that are just not even worth the consequences that you feel from it. And so,
trying to find that lowest hanging fruit too. Like, because maybe you don't start with like healing gut foods or whole foods. Maybe you start with blood sugar regulation because you're not eating in the morning and then you're waiting until 4 o'clock in the afternoon. And that really can mess with your body's ability to fight off inflammation and can cause inflammation when your blood sugar is not regulated. So maybe that's what it is. Maybe it's trying to find a balance throughout the day where you're never feeling starving or where you're feeling jittery or, you know, all those signs of blood sugar drops or spikes. Like, you know, if you're feeling really tired in the afternoon, there's something going on. Like either you didn't have anything earlier that was satisfying you for the amount of time that you were going to wait until you ate again, or you didn't eat anything quality that, you know, satisfied you. So there could be a number of those things that you want to take a look at. But maybe it's that. Maybe it's blood sugar regulation, and then it's looking at your whole diet and looking at the inflammatory foods versus the anti-inflammatory foods. And then, you know, and deciding, like you said, what listen to your body and what's causing those feelings throughout your day before you just start saying, oh, I'm going to switch this. Do the things that are going to be easier for you to start with.
And when you are thinking of the word inflammation, and we've already talked about it, I think of the word like angry and fired up and kind of just like really like the fight or flight internally. Like things are just like spazzing out a little bit. In addition to your diet, you want to, and we said this, you know, focus on decreasing stress on your body, stress in your body, stress in your mind and your energy. You know, a lot of times when we just, which is super powerful, but when we just do the actions, when we change our diet or we, you know, do something kind of straightforward, but we're still like all over the place and we're not sleeping and our emotions are high and low and this and that, it doesn't really make the impact that it can truly make, because our digestion is still whacked out when we're stressed, our absorption of the nutrients. So even though they're going into your mouth, your body is still kind of like sprung. Like that's the best way. If you saw me here, my hands are like, I'm like a visual inflamed cell right now.
She is.
Yes. But so like doing those type of things. And so maybe when you're trying to minimize it, doing like hard workouts, like really hard challenge, like stressing your body, maybe that's not the time to do it. Maybe it's more walking and breath work and fresh air and definitely moving, getting into a rhythm, but allowing the healing process of your body, because that's really what it is. It's healing from the inside out. And so giving your internal body the same support that you would have given a wound or surgery from the outside.
And thinking about how do you do that? How do you decrease that stress? Like the things that we've talked about many, many times, like that sleeping 7 to 9 hours is really important. Doing some breath work, identifying what's causing the stress, and time in nature, go outside and just like breathe in that hopefully fresh air.
Joy, laughing, things that your body kind of lights up with.
And that's going to make such a big difference. And in turn will help you to sleep better. And again, all the foundations will be affected by you decreasing your stress levels and sleeping better and so on and so forth. So what other mind-body connections do you think are associated with what we can do to decrease inflammation?
Sometimes I think it's just giving yourself the time to almost do things that you normally wouldn't do. Like for me, like tapping, which is kind of like a meditative physical process, is super helpful for me to decrease
really
stress.
In that. I don't know
it's amazing.
Is it like an energy healing or is it different than that?
I would say it's energy. Like you're shifting the energy in your body. It's also like helpful. There's some like verbalization. So it's helpful to kind of release some things. It's also really great for like anxiety because it's with your senses and stimulus, like you can feel something going on. It's just not, I have a hard time with like meditating and just sitting without any sort of thing to do. Yeah. So to that point, there's different things. I think some people have feel good with self-care rituals, massages, acupressure, acupuncture. There are a lot of amazing, if you have the money, and you don't need to go to like, you don't need to spend money to do these things, but there are healers out there that can help shift your energy, that can help, you know, build some positive energy, maybe release some energetic blocks that have been built up that will help release some stress in your life. You know, like we said in the other episode, sometimes it's stuff we can do on our own, and sometimes it's your circumstances, your job, your relationships, your family, whatever it might be. And those are things that you have to eventually deal with. I mean, those things like can eat you from the inside out. Yes. You know, we've all had people in our lives that have really kind of lost themselves and have had their health impacted because they've just lived in such a high stress space for so long, whether they're their CEO of a company and they're like running it and they're working 24 hours a day and then they have a heart attack or something like that. Like, or, you know, you're in a marriage and you as you know the partner or whatever, you let yourself completely go. There's no self-care. You've gained weight. You know, you're sitting and you just feel like you're trapped. You know,
well, those stuck places too. Like the body doesn't know whether you're getting chased by a lion or you're in a bad marriage. Like so, those fight or flight, like Liz said, like that constant. The way that she looked a minute ago. We'll post a picture of her doing that. The angry cell. But that fight or flight is where we're living, most of us, a lot of our day, which is really, really not a normal place to be. But with everything that's going on in the world and the tension and the just heaviness of the world, this is where we are. So it's a huge part of what's causing us illness, symptoms, and it definitely needs to be addressed.
And I feel like people who even have like strong insight and aren't, you know, normally maybe like highly strong, they have a good self-care regimen, have times where they feel it more than others. And so having that perspective of that, no matter what, how insightful you are, how connected, you're still going to feel it. Last night, my internet went out, and like because of everything that's going on in the world, I started going down this rabbit hole of like, what if like there's like something that goes on in our country where our internet is out, and then I needed to call somebody and I couldn't get the number because I couldn't get on my phone, and then I was oh my gosh, what happens when that happens? And then you can't get your money, and then we're all sitting at like literally this is not normally like me. Right. I went down this hole because right now in the world, tensions are high. Yeah. Things feel very emotional. Things feel very unpredictable. So as a person that normally can reel it back in for the most part, I just spun. Yeah. And so what I did was I got on the floor. I put my feet together. I just started to breathe. I accepted the fact that there was nothing I could do in the moment. Like I literally had to be like, stop, like, and root yourself, Liz. And if I didn't, then that would have probably impacted my sleep. Yeah. And then I wouldn't have slept as good. And then I would have got up the next day and I would have been dragging butt, and I would have maybe had 2 cups of coffee and no water. Like, but that's how it works. It's
so true. And though that's like toxic, right? The stress and that feeling and that anxiety, those are all toxic things to us, just like the things in our environment that are chemicals or that are in our food that can be toxic. And so another thing that's really important to decrease inflammation or prevent inflammation is supporting detox pathways. So ways that we can support detox pathways.
Yeah. So a lot of times that comes from, it's kind of dual. Supplements can help that. Supplements can help push along, make sure, you know, you're going to the bathroom, digestive, things are opening up, toxins are being pulled out of you. A lot of things that you do don't matter unless your pathways are open. You'll see like a liver protocol or this or that, but if you're detox pathways aren't open to go through that process, then often you are just putting stuff in your body and things are getting stuck. Some
just
people
like
might
you don't
say
get
like
absorbed or but same thing
coffee
like
enemas. There's so many different things that are far-fetched, and then there's
then there's hydration.
There's hydration.
You need to be hydrated to support.
Yes. And the thing that I always think of is like the basic thing is making sure you're hydrated, you're going to the bathroom regularly, all those things, because those are natural detox things. When you're super clogged up inside, even when you're doing that, sometimes you need a little more assistance, but that is also important to kind of think about is like same thing. Are you just doing the action, or are you getting kind of root? Are you opening up the space to let that action really do its job?
Yep.
Yeah.
So I think we're going to touch a little bit upon supplements, but I want for listeners to understand that like I truly believe, because you could go down a rabbit hole with like what supplements could help, really speaking to someone, a practitioner that can help you with a protocol for decreasing inflammation or preventing inflammation with supplements, or for whatever you need supplements for, like coming up with that protocol really should be advised by someone that can really help you. Yeah, because it's very individual. I mean, everyone's going to have a difference an opinion about what you need, and depending on how they figure that out, I think it's something that's important that you find a good practitioner that can help you with that. There's also things like going in a sauna, an infrared sauna, that can help you with detox pathways and dry brushing, and so there's lifestyle change things that you can do before you even go down that road of, do I need a supplement? Am I having any deficiencies in anything, or do I need help to lead me down this road? So like there's so many questions to ask yourself, and I say definitely start with the lifestyle and the nutrition and the lowest hanging fruit things that you can think of. Like, if you're stressed, then if you know that that's one of the biggest things, start with that.
Yeah. I mean, that will always have to be something incorporated. Sometimes when it's so extreme, like you do need, in my opinion, you do need a little bit more therapeutic help. Yeah. So, whether that's from a doctor or nutritionist or whatever, usually supplements, in my opinion, for something like this are short-term or short-ish long. It's not a forever thing, because once you decrease the inflammation and you pick up the lifestyle habits and the nutrition and all that stuff, you should be able to maintain a healthy body. Now, again, this is getting the inflammation before it turns into something that becomes a whole bigger situation. So, talking about supplements, if someone came to me and they were like, I just kind of feel chronic, wear and tear, inflammation in my joints. I just kind of feel like age is creeping on me, because that's another thing, that's stress on your body. And it might just be a little whisper. Like I'm not, able to kneel in the garden as much as I was able to before. For me, one of the things that I feel has the biggest success with the least amount of impact in terms, because you don't want to take 1,000 supplements either, is turmeric. My parents take it, like people who have taken it feel a before and an after. They can tell in their body that they have some support. And again, this is a little bit more, it can help with internal, deeper inflammation, but a lot of the times I'm giving this to people who have more joint inflammation, that they feel it really in their bones and their movement and arthritis and things like that are happening. And so that's one that I give to clients, and I feel really good about it, and I feel confident that it is a legit supportive thing. Of course, as always, you want to make sure it's like the quality is good, but that would be my go-to initially for someone with that type of symptom.
Yeah, I think that would be my go-to as well. I feel like that. And again, disclaimer for all of our amazing listeners, that if you're on any medications, you really want to talk to a qualified practitioner that can tell you, like, yes, it's okay for you to start this supplement, and really think about, what your needs are going to be before you start running out there and grabbing these things, because I know it's that simple. I know I'm on Instagram and I'll see an ad for something and I'm always clicking learn more or shop now, like especially if it's speaking to whatever I'm going through.
Sure.
In addition to the turmeric, I think omega-3 fatty acids, EPA, DHA are really important. If you eat a lot of wild fish, which again, I would suggest wild over anything else with fish, sardines, salmon, things that are high in omega-3s, those are going to have the benefit is to lower your inflammatory markers like the CRP that I was talking about, and that supports your brain and heart health. If you're not eating a lot of fish or, that's just not part of your diet, then maybe an omega-3 would be a good supplement as well to add in to the mix.
Yeah. And like, as you're saying this, I can think of 1,000 different scenarios where I would be like, you might want to add in magnesium because that helps with muscle contraction and circulation. But like, that's not for everybody. Or like, obviously you want fiber rich foods, but if you have some gut health stuff going on, you might want to support it with a little extra to get things like moving through you. So there really is really a different regimen. And I think I called out the turmeric because I think that's kind of the most general supplement that I think I would say that probably could benefit most people, right? And it's not.
And it's not. It's like it's a supplement, but not a supplement.
Yeah, it's a
like
food.
You can get. It's a food. You can get turmeric. It's the same thing with like herbs. There are herbs that definitely are anti-inflammatory.
Totally.
Curcumin is one of them. Turmeric is another one. Like, so there's other things that are going to be important in that role that might have nothing to do with supplements. You can use the spices or, and people are always concerned when I hear this a lot from some practitioners that, but if you're going to take curcumin, you need black pepper. Well, it's like, you also have to know what you're getting in your diet. Like, you're not like taking this in a vacuum again. There's other things that are going into your food and into your diet that are going to help you to absorb the curcumin. Sure. I mean, if you never eat black pepper and you're taking curcumin, you should know that you need it to help absorb it. But for the most part, everything that we do is like, has to do with our whole diet, not just this one instance of whatever we're going to eat.
Yeah.
Probiotics and prebiotics, really important for anti-inflammatory. And again, that's going to help with gut health. So it's sort of like that cycle. If the gut's not working properly or you don't have that diverse bacteria and you have poor gut health, then you're going to have inflammation. So obviously working and putting things in there, like you said, you could go down this.
Yeah.
We could keep going with the things that are going to help. Like you said, magnesium is definitely on that list. And we could go on and on with supplements. I really don't want to go too deep into them because I do feel that you need to know what it is that you may need. Maybe, again, it's not a supplement. It's adding those anti-inflammatory herbs, and ginger is really a great one.
And honestly, if you have, for most people, if they have the beginning kind of signs of inflammation and things going not feeling their very best, if you are adding a variety of fruits and vegetables in and the antioxidants and all the things that come through that, I mean, you see here, like, you see these drinks and powders that they were like, 25 superfoods. And if you see the superfoods, it's like raspberries and, apple peels and this and that, like, they are super. And so just eat those foods, and so first line of defense, I would say, would be increasing your fruits and vegetables immensely and your hydration. And then obviously all the other nutrients too, macronutrients that you want to make sure that you're getting. But a lot of what you're going to be taking in supplements, especially like whole real supplements, are going to be blends of herbs and
you can even get teas that are anti-inflammatory that have rooibos or turmeric or curcumin. Like, so there's ways that you can start to do this and see if it has a positive impact. I want to talk just a little bit about the inflammatory, like the fire starters, like you said, the creating these fires. Like, I don't think that people get and understand that, like, choosing organic produce is huge because the pesticides and herbicides and other chemicals that are being sprayed on the conventional produce create inflammation.
Yeah.
So avoiding those refined carbs, excess sugar, like all of those things. So thinking about
quality of the food
you're eating as well.
Yeah. I mean, when you think of low quality food, even if it looks like a whole food, the process of raising it, growing it, getting it to your plates, all of those things is a completely different process. And so usually those involve artificial manufacturing, transportation, packaging, all of that type of stuff. So just to kind of be mindful of that. And a lot of times, those are a lot of the hidden things for people is like, something in their house or candles or mold or what their food's being, not high quality food. And they're like, well, I'm eating this or I'm having,
Or they're going somewhere that says, oh, this is an anti-inflammatory smoothie and it's made with all conventional vegetables.
Sort of like sugar base of
it's like a bomb of chemicals.
Yeah.
But we hear that. And I also think that that's like an interesting thing that we do. Like you go after the, like psychologically, like, going back to like our fitness classes that are named butts and guts and things like
you're
that.
like, I want a good butt and gut.
Right? You go towards that. And so like if you go to a place where they have like weight loss smoothies or, tone and refine, whatever it's called. Like we get into this mindset that we're going to drink this and then we're going to see this results. But that's like, it's so unfortunate that that's just not the way things work. Like you need to take the time and commit, and you're talking weeks, maybe months before you start to see the results of doing these things, these improvements in your diet or these anti-inflammatory additions into your diet as you take out the inflammatory ones. Like it's not, you may feel a little bit better symptom-wise in a few days, but like you're talking about weeks and months to make these changes. And like you had said earlier, if your body knows, it communicates with you all the time. Like if you have a little of something, your body may react to it and you're like just starting over. So to me, I feel the best thing to do is like almost like a cleanse. Start to remove the things that are not fueling your body properly, that are causing the inflammation, and start to add in the things that are going to do the positive benefits for you. And, and give it time so that you feel good. Your body wants the good stuff.
Yeah, no, that's what it needs. That's what it operates from. That's non-negotiable. And as you're going through this process, journal, write down how you're feeling, write down, the foods that you're noticing a reaction to, just really kind of be a student of self as you're going through this process, especially if you are someone that's experiencing chronic inflammation or chronic conditions. But even if you're not, do this for yourself, because that's going to be preventative. That's going to be a good opportunity for you to hear this information and nip future things in the bud. Just being more aware of how our body communicates with us.
Yes.
Yeah. So hopefully that this was helpful for you guys. Hopefully you guys had some good takeaways on things that you can do for yourself, things that you can, encourage your family, conversations you can have with your friends. These are things that we should be talking more about because they're all positive. It doesn't mean that you're shaming anyone. It doesn't mean that, you're pro-diet or restriction. This is really things or perspective or ways to kind of view what now is normal and calling it out and being like, it's not normal to feel crappy every day. It's not normal to wake up and feel bloated. It's not normal to be like chasing skin conditions, and it's not.
No, and it's really not about a diet either. It's really about understanding the needs of your body.
And then giving it to it consistently. And so
we would also love to hear if when we asked you in the part one, if you wrote down anything that you thought was causing your inflammation or helping, or we'd love to hear if you kind of got your answer today, or it was different than what we had spoke about, but we'd love to hear what you thought.
And any questions that might still be remaining around this topic that we could help with. If we didn't answer something, send them through DM, Instagram. We are always here to chat.
Yes. Thanks, everyone.
Thanks, guys. We'll talk to you soon.